Hello. So I want to talk about a couple of things that have happened in the last few days that have been interesting. Yesterday morning I woke up at like 4:30 in the morning because I had this dream about a friend of mine. It's actually someone that I used to know when I was back at Starbucks. And in the dream, he something happened to him. He just like he died. Something happened to him. I didn't really know what happened to him, but all I remember in the dream is that people were worried and concerned, and also that his wife was talking to me and that she wanted to know what happened, or she wanted to know if I could communicate with him in spirit. And I just felt horrible. I remember in the dream hearing about his passing from other people that I knew through Starbucks, so it was just it was kind of sad. And I woke up around 4:30, and I was like, oh no. And it doesn't mean that it's going to happen or that this is something that's going to occur. Sometimes when you have a dream like that, you have to kind of take it with a grain of salt, because being psychic or sensing things is like having a like a tornado warning. It's like the alarms and the sirens start to go off. That doesn't mean you're gonna get hit by a tornado. It just means, prepare, because there may be something like that comes along. So sometimes when you have a dream, it doesn't always mean that it's going to come true. It sometimes means that it's just what could be symbolic in nature. It could be something that's just symbolic and may represent something that I'm personally going through. I did have a lot of pizza. I had a lot of crap food actually the night before, so it could be just something coming from the food that I ate. I had pizza, and I had what else did I have? I had fried shrimp and garlic bread and a lot of carbs, which is funny. I've been low carbing it recently, and I just overloaded on carbs that day or that evening. So it doesn't always mean, so the dreams, when you have a dream like that, it doesn't always mean that it's going to come true. It just sometimes means that it may be symbolic in nature. It may represent some aspects of yourself that you're playing out in your dreams. Or it also could be something realistic, something that's going to happen. And that's what scares me, because I don't ever know. It's not like I can tell whether something's going to happen or it's not based off of a dream. In the moment inside the dream, you feel like it's real. It's very vivid, and you're like, okay. And I have had dreams where I was with someone. Actually, let's say several years ago, I had a dream about my aunt. She was my great aunt, and in the dream, she was kind of in this house that I'd never recognized. And I recognized her, but I didn't recognize this house. And she was pacing back and forth, pacing back and forth, pacing back and forth. And I asked her, I said, hey, are you okay? What's wrong? And everything was very symbolic. It's like none of it was realistic. It was very symbolic. And she says, no, I'm not. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. I'm like, well, what's wrong? And she says, well, something's wrong with her heart. And I said, oh. She says, when the doctors get a hold of me, they're gonna find out. And I said, oh, okay. And I kind of got the feeling that she was gonna go somewhere, or she wasn't gonna be around for very long. So then I asked her, well, it'll be okay, it'll be okay. She said, no. She says, when I'm gone, I'm worried about my son. And I'm like, your son? She's like, and these are family members that I don't know too well. I know the aunt because my mom used to visit her quite often, and I used to pick her up from my aunt's house. So I used to get a chance to talk to her and give her a hug and a kiss and so forth. She's so sweet. But I didn't know her son very well. So she was like, yeah, in the dream, she said, I'm worried about my son. And so I didn't think anything of it. I woke up and I'm like, uh-oh, something's going to happen, because I got that feeling to it. And then my mom had a very similar dream within the week. And so my mom's also psychic. She's actually a schizophrenic. So it's hard for her to distinguish what's real and what's going on in her mind and what's make believe. So whenever my mom has a dream and I have the dream as well, or a dream that's correlating to that, I take it a little more seriously, because we tend to pick up on things. My sister as well. So I took it more seriously. I said, okay. And a few days later, my aunt was admitted to the hospital because she was having, I think she had pneumonia or something like that. But while she was in the hospital, they found out she had congestive heart failure. So I was expecting her to go any day at that point. She didn't. She passed away like 8 months later of a heart condition, I believe. And within a week, her son passed away as well. So it was just kind of weird how that all came about, and I wasn't giving all the details. And I don't really think there's anything I could have known about. I don't think there's anything I could have done about it, just because she was an elderly person, so I think it was her time to go. Her son, I really didn't know where that was going, and I didn't even know what to make of that, so I didn't act on that. So that happened. So sometimes when I do dream certain things, or it happens in a certain way, I do feel the need to do something about it. And in this case, my friend, I know he's a very devout Christian, and I know they try to stray away from anything like this, but he also knows that I can do this. I remember once we were at Starbucks, and this is when the first Malaysia plane had disappeared, and people were trying to figure out where this plane was, and they were looking in the ocean. And so he asked what I thought happened to the plane. It was conversation. It was morning. He was having his first cup of coffee, and I was just talking with him. And he asked what I thought had happened based off of all the theories that people had going on around, as far as like, it being, it going into the ocean or something like that. And I said, I think that it was shot down by a missile. I feel that it was shot down by a missile, and it was a terrorist group, but the group was being supported by a larger government that was kind of supporting or financially backing up this terrorist group, and I felt like it was shot down by a missile. So he thought, okay, that's weird. It's not even people weren't really considering that option or that potential. They thought that maybe there was some engine failure or something happened and it just went into the ocean. So we hadn't really people hadn't discussed the potential of it being shot down by a missile. And it was kind of he wasn't expecting me. I wasn't even expecting myself to say that. I just said it, and he just looked at me, gave me that weird look, like, okay, Fernando, it was shot down by a missile. And then a few months later, there was a second Malaysia Airlines plane that went down because it was shot down by a missile. So by a group that was supposedly being supported by Russia. So that happened as well. And so I think he had some experience with me and believing that I can do this. Because I think that the next day after that happened and it was on the news, he says, "Oh, Fernando the Prophet." So, but even then, I don't try to go and impose my beliefs or my feelings onto other people. I really try to respect personal space. And in this situation, I mean, I didn't know how to I didn't know how to deal with this. You have a dream about someone that's gonna die. You don't really know how they're gonna die. You're having a dream that you're talking to their wife, who she's trying to connect with them via me, the medium, which is highly unlikely because of their beliefs. So I don't know. But I did message him on Facebook. I messaged him and said, hadn't talked to him in a while. So I said, hey, how are you doing? Just want to check in on you. How's your health? Do you get physicals regularly? When you go to physicals, do they check your heart specifically? Or do you have to request that? Do you get a flu shot? I was trying to kind of give him like, hey, just checking in with you, a little kind of worried about you. And he was very open. He actually responded to all my questions, and he didn't even ask why I was asking those questions. And then he asked how I was doing. So I said, oh, I'm doing good. I just had a little bit of a nightmare, and maybe it's symbolic, or maybe it's just a lot of, pizza the night before, or Whataburger. And I just wanted to kind of touch base with you, see how you were doing. So he seemed to be doing okay. And I hope that it's just more symbolic, and it being aspects of my own mind playing itself out in my dreams versus it actually being something that's going to happen. Because I would hate for him to pass away. He's a really good guy, and he has a daughter, and his wife is gorgeous, and they seem like a really happy couple, and they have a good life. So I'd hate to see that all, come end. So, but I still try to, push him. So I think I've done my part. But I hope it was just me having a weird dream and not it actually being something that's going to happen. Because that has occurred before. I know for the Orlando shooting, I had dreams about that. I think I talked about that in another video, one of my previous episodes. But so that was weird. And so yeah. So I mean that. It's just sometimes when you have dreams, you don't know how to act or how to take it, because it could be something more or it could be something less, and you don't want people to take you crazy. But at the same time, if there's something you can do to prevent it, then by all means give it a shot. But you have to be careful, because you don't want to step over people's toes or disrespect their own beliefs and you kind of impose yourself on them. So that happened yesterday, and the rest of the day I felt better after I got a hold of him, because I woke up at 4:30 and I couldn't go to sleep, and so I was like, okay, well, what the heck do I do with my time now? So I was checking emails and doing some e-readings like at 5 o'clock in the morning. I got on the bike and did my morning exercise routine, and that's it. So yesterday was chore day, so we had to do a lot of chores, cleaning and all of that. And I was so tired at the end of all of that I completely crashed and fell asleep watching Star Trek Voyager at the end of the day, and I was just like, ah, totally knocked out. And then I woke up, and then we watched some more shows. So that's cool. But I just wanted to tell you guys about what happened yesterday, and look, that's it. I love you guys. Take care.